So an impact factor reflects how frequently a journal's recently published articles are cited. And they're usually cited by other researchers. So in simple terms, it's an indication of how visible and influential a journal's content can be within our scientific community. And we're pleased that the impact factor for all of our families and journals has increased over the past few years and also dramatically this year as well.
One thing that's important to recognize with impact factors is it's really focused on the impact over the past several years and recognizing the articles that are highly cited in that time frame. So for certain journals, and the way we structured our sister journals is focused on very defined areas. So you're going to see variations in impact factor really based upon the focus of what that specific journal is addressing.
And I am the editor-in-chief of Reviews, which by definition is a review article journal. What's unique about review articles is that they're the most highly cited in some ways just because they are a summary of the literature, if you will. So they're really helpful for not just scientists and physicians and clinicians and so forth, but also for policymakers who use these to make decisions on, what should society do about certain aspects of how we allocate care.
I would just add that the impact factor has two parts to it, if you will. One of them is where is that level right now and how does that compare to other journals in the field? And then the other part is it going up or is it going down? And for those of us that are in the sister journals, which started relatively recently, the slope of the rise is the thing that we are looking at. And I think it's very encouraging that all of the journals are increasing in their impact factor, but particularly then for the sister journals that started at 0 and have now moved and have shown a track record over 2 years that the impact factor is in fact on its way up.
I think it says an awful lot. I think the rising impact factor for the F&S family of journals, it really demonstrates that the research we're publishing is being read and cited and used in our field. I think it shows that our editorial standards and the work we've been doing has paid off.
I think one of the nice things about the slope, as Dr. Paulson mentioned, the fact that it's going up highlights the fact that our readership cares and they're interested and they come to the F&S journals to identify their specific interests. So in our journal, if people are looking for the seminal works that are going to ultimately lead to rapid changes in reproductive health, they're coming to F&S Science. They're recognizing that as being a value. The same for F&S Reviews, the same for F&S Reports, and the same for Fertility and Sterility in general. The fact is that all of our journals are seeing a rapid increase in the number of submissions. We've been able to take on the increasing demands and be able to identify better articles, identify stronger, more impactful articles at the same time as we're getting this increase in the number of submissions. And I think that also highlights the fact that, one, we're able to grow and we continue to be able to grow to meet the demands of our readership and of our authors.
ASRM helps us a lot in terms of the family of journals as well, because the journals and ASRM bring together a lot of different groups, the scientists, the clinicians, the embryologists, the educators, and all sorts of other health professionals. So they can look towards a journal in our society and we can really present what we think is the right rigorous way forward, both present new science, but also in a sense to provide better clinical care for our patients. So it's really the family that makes this special, not just one individual journal.
And one thing that's, I think, important, we live in exciting times in an exciting field. And the fact is reproduction is central and we are able to make rapid advancements. And we have been. You look at our field and where it started decades ago compared to where we are now and where we're going. And this is why, one, it's very exciting as being able to report these advancements because it highlights where we're moving towards in the future. And that's where getting these seminal articles that give you a sense of what the future could be is important. But it's also important from an editorial standpoint to be able to weed out things that really are of questionable scientific value and really be able to provide the readership those outstanding articles that really have a high likelihood of rapidly changing and improving the field to better women's health and couples' health.
And one of the things I don't know how old everybody else is, but I'm pretty old. And at this point, I've seen the growth of this field. When I started, it was almost a mom and pop shop mentality for each of the centers and now it's really grown to the point where it's so mature. And I think that the literature has followed suit by improving the care that we give. And I really think that the most important aspect of that improved care that we're giving is the strength of the journals that have evaluated the knowledge and publicize it so people understand what are the best practices in our field.
You could also have to mention we're not only a family of journalists, but we're part of ASRM. That's our ultimate family. And with that, we can have really trusted information. The society can work to disseminate our journals, and we can help promote the society as well. So the information coming out of society and community opinions and ethic opinions can be published in our journals, and it's trusted. And the scientific literature that we call and ultimately publish in our journal then comes back to the society to make really good guidelines and other aspects that helps our patients.
And I think that the one strength that it may not be unique to us, but it's certainly highlighted with us is it's not us. We have whole teams of people who are very passionate, very motivated to address the basic science, translational science, the clinical science, epidemiologic science, health disparities, policy. They want to address this to try to improve outcomes for their patients and for themselves. And we have an entire group of people that are very motivated on this topic. And we, as editors-in-chief, have tried to create ways in which it allows other people to participate and to share their thoughts, their feelings, their findings, and their ability to work through a lot of these topics.
I also would really like to emphasize with how collaborative this group is. I mean, one of the things that I would mention is that Bill, Kurt, and Rick, all three of them have relinquished some of their potential productivity by, shunting it over to me as review journals in order to support me. They're just very collaborative and really supportive of each other.
I would just echo what Aaron said about us being part of the American Society for Reproductive Medicine. The board of directors set up this family of journals, and they made this happen because they saw the benefit both to the membership of the ASRM as well as to the reproductive medicine community at large, the benefit of having these 4 journals focusing on the little specific areas that we are all focused on. So we have F&S Science, which focuses on the basic science, Reviews, like its name implies, and F&S Reports, where we are publishing case reports and smaller series, perhaps more innovative kinds of science that may not yet have the strength and the weight behind it that would warrant publication in Fertility and Sterility. But it is the family of the journals that provides that infrastructure to allow all of the relevant and important science to be published and disseminated.
Yeah, I want to thank all the people that work for our journals. I think what really allows us to have the trust in the scientific community, which gives us high impact, is the real rigor and integrity that all of our editors and reviewers just, maintain. And because of that hard work, really looking at for the right reasons, that's the reason the information in our journals and our society can be trusted. And that's why it has an impact.
And I want to thank the authors and contributors who invest their time and effort to put together fantastic research, fantastic studies that allow us to advance the field and trust on us to provide them a fair, balanced, and constructive analysis to be able to provide the best possible outcomes for our readership. So I think that they deserve a lot of credit for the efforts that they put in, and we certainly are indebted to them.